and welcome everybody. Welcome to our 7th grade English Language Arts Mendes Fundamental Back to School Night for 2021 to 2022. Woo-woo! Hello everybody, my name is Mrs. Ornelas. I am your student's substitute teacher for this semester. My name is Mrs. Ornelas, and it is wonderful to be meeting with you all and working with your students. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, and then we'll talk a little bit more about our classroom. Sorry, I'm going to the next slide. So just a little bit about myself. My name is Ms. Ornelas. I'm your child substitute teacher for this semester, for the fall semester. I have closely worked with Hazel or Ms. Arroyo in the past before, so I will just be with your student from now until the next semester rolls over. I am a substitute teacher. This is my first year subbing, and I'm looking forward to kind of growing with your students this semester. I have worked in the past with Ms. Arroyo before, so I am very well aware of our policies and just what we are going to be getting into as the semester rolls on. A little bit more about me. I am a Cal State Fullerton alum. Woo-woo! Go Titans! I did graduate in 2020. I have some plans to return back to grad school in 2022, hopefully very soon. Some of my hobbies include reading. I discuss with the students just kind of some favorite reading topics or reading interests, such as Percy Jackson. I also enjoy going to escape rooms and hiking through lava tunnels. So I just enjoy hiking, and if I can go through lava tunnels or mysterious kind of caverns, I enjoy that. That's just a little bit about me when I'm not in the classroom. Just to let you know, some of the images I see that are here on the screen below is my dog. I have a wonderful little Shiba Inu, so I love hanging out with my dog as well as a hobby. This is just a graduation picture that I had as I graduated from CSUF, and then that is a younger sibling of mine. I spent a lot of time with them. And I enjoy going through lava tunnels, but I also enjoy going through book tunnels. So I enjoy going to bookstores and reading. And I particularly enjoy English, as I did major in English at Cal State Fullerton. And I also have my single subject credential in the English subject. So pretty good. And then moving on, we're going to get into a little bit more of our class expectations and just kind of how this classroom is going to work for the next semester. So just a little bit more. Some of my classroom expectations for both students and parents is that they're working not only from home too, but they're also working in the classroom. I am expecting students, if possible, to have some sort of consistent workspace in the home and the classroom. Here, they always have a consistent workspace. We have a seating chart where they're returning to every day, where they can especially focus for extended periods of time that are free from any distractions. Some helpful hints that I always give my students in our classroom is making sure their device is fully charged. We have to make it through a long day, so I always encourage them, if your device runs out of battery, make sure to stop by the library or make sure you bring your charger from home. Having necessary supplies such as pens, pencils, erasers, highlighters, their books, scratch paper, or any other supplies. Here at Mendes, we do have a fairly lengthy supply list. It's on the inside of their agendas, right on that right-hand side to the cover. So I always encourage my students to have all their supplies to check to make sure, because we use them on a daily basis. Moving on to a little bit more of our classroom expectations. Some of my do's and don'ts for this classroom. My do's, I expect students to be on time. I expect them to focus and follow along as we are going through class. There are sometimes I know where students can get a little sleepy before or after, so I always encourage them, if you need to sleep early, if you need to get a small snack or some water, get that. But we want to make sure that we are focusing. When they have something to share, it is the expectation that they will raise their hands. They have their materials ready at all times. Again, it is huge at Mendes for our students to have all their materials. If for whatever reason they are missing a material too, I have let them know to let me know, just in case. I am understanding if sometimes a student needs an extra highlighter, that's fine. But I always have them come talk to me. And then lastly, my biggest classroom expectation is that they are an active participant. They are taking notes. They are typing their responses. They are asking questions. They are raising their hands. They are participating vocally or non-vocally in my classroom. Some of my biggest don'ts are walking around. I don't want students randomly getting up to walk around or just trying to leave to use the restroom. I always have them let me know if you need a moment to stretch. That's fine, but just let me know. Using cell phones is a big don't in my classroom. I might have some parents who maybe they need to message their student or something's going on. I always have a students come talk to me if that's the case, but I don't really let any of my students use any cell phones in the class. We are focused. We are ready to learn, so that is a big don't for me. As well as getting sidetracked by distractions. I know it can become easier and easier to get sidetracked, so we try to let our students know that that's a big don't. So I'm going to get into a little bit more about the class. Those are some of my basic expectations. A little bit more about this class itself. Over this next school year, we will be learning and developing our skills as critical thinkers, readers, writers, speakers, and listeners. Those are really some of the basic foundations of the English language. Students will be reading a variety of genres in literature, such as narrative, informative, even a little bit of argumentative. They will be writing these texts as well. In addition, we will refine our listening and speaking skills by delivering coherent presentations that clearly convey information. So your students do a lot in my classroom. We will often have presentations where they are standing, where they are presenting for their groups. We will have moments where they are clearly annotating, using these critical thinking skills, where as readers, writers, speakers, and listeners, it is imperative to use all their senses in order to understand some of the core concepts of our class. So some of these, getting a little bit more into that niche, some of the targeted skills that we will have for this class, students will master essential skills such as annotating, close reading with a variety of genres of literature. So again, we're really going to get into annotating with my students. We're really going to do close reading. We want to make sure that they are embracing the text and they are able to really get through the meat and the heart of it. And not just with nonfiction texts or fiction texts, a wide variety of texts. Students will strengthen their written communication skills by learning to support their opinions with evidence and details. Focused note-taking will often be used for gathering information, so we are going to be taking focused notes, and they will strengthen their higher-level thinkings through in-depth classroom discussions, Socratic seminars, evidence-based arguments, Bloom and Costa's levels of questions, and of course the GATE depth and complexity icons. They will also be embraced in this classroom. So I am familiar with some of the GATE depth and complexity icons. I'm actually familiar with all of them rather, but we will be using them periodically as part of students really unlocking those higher levels of thinking and really critically analyzing the text that they read in front of them, but also themselves as scholars. Lastly, in order to prepare our students to be the best digital citizens they can be, we will be engaging in the process of evaluating online sources and creating a positive digital footprint. So we will be working with texts that are online, such as news sources or any media prints, or sometimes occasionally videos as well. Moving on a little bit more, so the learning management system that my classroom and Ms. Arroyo's classroom use is Google Classroom. This is where students will find announcements for what's going on day to day. This is where they will find assignments, so their homework, and this is where they will turn it in. Everything that they need is in my Google Classroom. It is a one-stop shop. If you would like to follow your students' progress, you may add your email to their account. Every day I upload daily videos for my students to follow along, so if they have missed a day, they can follow the daily video and know exactly what is due, exactly what we did in class. I will have my daily agendas and slides up for them as well, so that is always available to them. They can also email me, always. Parents can be added as well to receive weekly summary reports. So there is complete transparency in what is going on in my classroom. That is always available. So the units of study. We have multiple units in this classroom that we will study over the course of this semester. We will be studying, we will primarily be using the Study Sync curriculum. We will be going through the first 3 units: In Pursuit, The Powers That Be, Justice Served. Next semester, it will be Unit 4, Getting Along. Novel units. We will be covering the novel The Hunger Games in this classroom. That will be closer towards the winter break or latter half of the fall. And then next semester, we will be reading The Outsiders, or for students, we'll be reading The Outsiders with Ms. Arroyo. So that's just a little bit of what we will be reading. Now, grading. The grading in my classroom will look the same as Ms. Arroyo's. 70% of it is going to be classwork, homework, and participation. So that's going to consist of do-nows, exit ticket, quick writes, notes, comprehension checks, independent reading, grammar exercises, active participation during classroom discussions, etc. All those basics. 30% of it is going to be those final culminating essays, tests, quiz, and projects. Those bigger timed assessments, they're just going to take up a little bit more. So that's going to be 30%. That's how I split up my classroom. A little bit more into grading. So in independent reading, I do expect all my Mendes students, my Mendes scholars, to be independent readers. Part of the nightly homework includes 30 minutes of independent reading. Students will complete independent reading journals to demonstrate their learning. Chapter books can be accessed from the student's home library, public library. Ms. Arroyo has a digital public library, which all my students are aware of, or through the Sora app as well. So there are multiple forms for the students to be able to read. We encourage our students to always have a book on them, whether it is virtual or print. Homework, late work, and absences. Time is always given in my classroom to do assigned work. Students have multiple days or multiple times throughout the week to make sure that they finish their assigned work. Anything that is unfinished may become homework. Late work will be accepted for 2 weeks until after the original due date. However, points will be deducted and partial credit will be received. Absent students are still responsible for completing any missed assignments and will have up to 5 days to turning missing work without any point deductions. So I understand that we are ongoing through a pandemic and students may be absent for one reason or another. As long as a student is communicating with me and keeping up with our daily videos and our daily class logs or presentations and slides, they should be fine. So that work is still expected when a student returns back to the classroom. Usually I will speak to the student about what is needed to turn in and how long they have to turn that work in. So that way a student never falls too far behind. And then my grading policy. Grades are available for student and parent viewing in the Aries portal. Please check your grades on a weekly basis. That's when they will be updated. There will be no extra credit opportunities in this classroom, but I do allow flexibility with late work. Lastly, parent information. So for you parents, some of the biggest help that you can give me as your child's educator is helping your child establish and keep a routine. Have your students waking up at the same time every morning, getting properly dressed. Mendes does have a fairly strict dress code, and eating a healthy breakfast. Helping your child find a comfortable and consistent space in your home where they can complete assignments. That is normally just offering that space to students is such an enormous aid to them. Also checking in with your student. Ask if your student, what classes they had today, what did they discover, did you have any assignments complete, what can I do to help? Checking Aries weekly to monitor your students' grades. That's also a huge one that I want my parents to be aware of as they are going up. You can email me at ashley.ornelas@sausd.us if you have any concerns or questions. Also encouraging physical activity and exercise as well as time away from the screen. Over the last year and a half, I might even say, most of our students have been on their screens, so encouraging students to step away from the screen as well once they have finished anything that they need to do is a great opportunity for them to really come back to the classroom refreshed. And then lastly, but never least, little sneak peek of Ms. Arroyo right there. These are my office hours. I have a digital sign-up form for students that they can click here, or they can also click by going through my Google Classroom. So they can sign up for office hours if they need to speak to me. If they feel more comfortable just reaching out in the morning hours, they can do so. I also have in-person office hours Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 7:55. And then after school, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 2:30 to 3 p.m. I do not offer them on Wednesday just because it is modified that day. So those are my office hours for your students. Parents, if you need to reach out to me, again, please feel free to email me as well. Lastly, contact me. Thank you all for stopping by and getting this virtual visit to our open house. You can email